Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. We are continuing the course Experimental Psychology Site 221. So today for the purpose of this course, we are necessarily going to be going about experimental research design. But before then, we understand that this course also considered other types of research very importantly, because they will really have to speak about 50% of your subjective questions. Yes, so we will really need to touch it. Yes, the part that is necessary for this exam. Other research methods, we have the experimental methods and the non-experimental methods of research, and this video will take care of the non-experimental types of research. Yes, and please remember to subscribe to our channel if you have not, and please like, share, and yes, comment on the comment box if you have any questions. We'll be glad to hear from you to know how these videos have been impacting on your life. Yes, especially your academic life, we mean. Yes. Okay, so the non-experimental methods of research. We're talking about the case study research. The case study, we discussed that it uses only few participants or subjects. Like I give example, if you want to study the temperaments of stammerers or people that stutter, right? You understand that your population of interest is few. Perhaps in your class you may see only one person or two. In the whole faculty you may see only 2 or 3 or 5 or 6, right? So in this situation, you understand that you are not looking for any other type of research design, but simply case study. Case study has been very powerful in the sense that it's one of the best places where we get first-hand information, quality data that are used for future research. Yes. So case study oftentimes doesn't pass 12 participants. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 4, 5. But it doesn't pass 12. Once it's beyond 12, or let's say some people take 15 or 10, yeah, it's no longer case study research. Use of pigeon, Ivan Pavlov's research with dog is case study. B.F. Skinner's use of pigeons, yeah, is a case study research method. Okay, so that is for case study, and remember, looking at them in respect to the course we are working on, not going deep. This is what you need for your exam. Exactly. So we have naturalistic observation, very important, and we will really need to pay attention. Yes, this one considers or goes through the research process, observing the participants or the subjects of interest in their natural setting. The key word is in their natural setting, observing them in their natural setting. You understand? So there are things very important for the exam we should remember here, that in observing these participants in the natural setting, for example, you want to observe the reading behavior of UNN students or UNIZIK students, for example. You will understand that these persons have these social influences. Once they notice that they are being observed, they can modify their behaviors. They are there making calls, they are there trying to eat, or let's say drink water, or discuss with a classmate, please, when are we having next class? There are a lot of other behaviors going on at the same time that you are trying to simply observe their reading behavior. So that is one thing in naturalistic observation. In their natural setting, other behaviors can go on. So, and that brings us to the problem of naturalistic observation. 2 problems, and that is one I just talked about. One is delimiting behavior, problem of delimiting behavior, and problem of reactivity. So problem of delimiting behavior is in the situation that the researcher is faced with this problem of how to reduce the behavior to only the behavior he's interested in. Remember, you are not obstructing them, you are not disturbing them, and you, in fact, if you influence their behavior, it's no more naturalistic observation. They are no more in their natural setting. You have modified the setting, right? So we always have this problem of trying to delimit the behavior. You are wanting to know the number of times they read. They are there discussing. They are there making calls. They are there eating, right? So that is that particular problem. The second problem, okay, first we should understand that this problem of delimiting behavior, there are ways we use to solve them, and that is when we use operationalization. Operationalization. Yes, you try to operationalize, like I said before. We have just make sure you are interested, know how you want to measure what you want to measure, so that every other behavior that is occurring, you are not interested. Please, before I continue, I want to point out another word that is very important for this course. You see the word like anthropomorphizing. Anthropomorphizing. Please, you will be expecting it in your exam. Yes, anthropomorphizing. This is when we attribute human characteristics to animals. It occurs in naturalistic observation. When we attribute human attributes, yes, to animals. For example, when you say the dog is happy, happiness is an attribute of humans, right? So when you attribute it to a dog, for example, an animal, right? For example, that dog, you are doing what we call anthropomorphizing. Exactly. So going back to what we were discussing, we're talking about reactivity in this time, since we are done with delimiting behavior. So reactivity occurs when the participants in naturalistic setting modify their behavior because they know they are being observed. If they notice you're observing them, their behavior change to suit the social expectations. For example, it is expected that a student sitting in the library or in the class should be reading. At that point, if they discover you are using video or observing them, they will stop the discussion, they will stop the noise, they will start reading immediately, right? So if you want to monitor the number of times or the attitude of persons going to toilets and washing their hands when they come out, and you stand by the corridor, maybe by the sink and everything, 99% of persons, knowing that they are being observed, will want to wash their hands because they know it is expected as one of the expectations to be neat, right, in that setting. So reactivity occurs when people try to modify, just like a girl that was busy picking her nose when she was passing, and all of a sudden discover a guy is watching and everything, or guys are watching her. She changes her step, right? That is reactivity. In that situation, your behavior of interest may be in question. The validity of any data you collect will be having problem, right? Because it is defeated due to reactivity. And the ways we try to control for this problem of reactivity is what we call the unobtrusive observation and unobtrusive measure. Unobtrusive observations and unobtrusive measures. These are the ways we control for reactivity. So unobtrusive observation, for example, participant observation method or use of cameras, all of those things, right? You try to video, they will not know, right? So all these CCTV cameras, like you install it and you video without them knowing that you are videoing them. And then participant observation, you are part of the system, you are part of the discussion, you are part of the whole thing going on. In that situation, you simply video them or take part. Maybe it's riot, you just consider them or even part of the riot. They will not know you are part of the the whole that you are observing them or taking data, right? In this situation, you have been able to unobtrusively collect data or observe them naturally. Yes. Then unobtrusive measure on the other way around, we call that ex post fact. Yes. So after the fact, after the behavior have taken place, you come back and check the effects. After the riot have taken place, you come and see what they did in it, and you now go to their hostess and ask them what happened, why did this, all of those things, or check what they destroyed. For example, you may not want to ask the guy, do you go to church, or do you smoke, or do you drink, right? What you need to do is, once you get to the house of the guy, go and check the dustbin. When you go to the dustbin, you will see the answer to do you smoke and everything, right? Yes. So that is unobtrusive measure, and that is for naturalistic observation. So another very important research technique, non-experimental research design or technique, is the correlational studies. The correlational studies is interested in degree and direction of relationships. Degree and direction of relationships. They consider the degree and direction in particular, yes. So we have positive, negative, and zero correlation, or call it no correlation. Please mind you, or remember that, or take note of it, yes. The coefficient, correlation coefficient, PSR, is -1 or +1. Anything less than -1 or +1. If it's 1 or -1, it's a perfect score. But -1 or +1, within this place, that is a correlation coefficient, -1 or +1. So we said positive correlation is when the relationship, remember we're talking about directions here, right? When the relationship goes the same direction. Increase in this lead to increase in this. That is positive correlation. Decrease in this lead to decrease in this. That is also positive, right? Increase in churches to increase in sin in the society. Yeah, that is positive correlation. In decrease or increase in exercise to decrease this time, right, in body weight. That is negative correlation, right? So negative correlation is when they are going different directions. Increase, decrease, or you see decrease, increase, right? That is, yeah, negative. And then we have zero correlation or no correlation. There is no significant relationship between those two variables. The number of times you sneeze and the amount of money in your account, right? Or your shoe size with your body weight, or yes, all of those things, they are not significantly related. Yes, so that is for correlational study. We have again, these things we are talking about are very important for your exam. Please, we should really make sure we note them each, and please supply your questions in the comment box, and remember to subscribe and like or share with your friends. Yes, so we looking at quasi experiment. We've discussed, and we are going to also discuss the experimental method, because it involves manipulation. Why this one is called quasi experiment is because the manipulation is not done by the researcher or the experimenter, but it is done by Mother Nature. Naturally, the manipulation occurs. For example, earthquake, for example, tornado, for example, plane crash, all of those things. Riot occurs. In these situations, you're not the one instigating them or trying to manipulate people or trying to cause an earthquake. But once this manipulation is done, yes, independent is already ready. What do? You come and collect data. You're dependent. The outcome of plane crash, outcome of tornado, outcome of earthquake, right? So that is quasi experiment. Yes, it comes with a lot of junkies. Yes. It's not the only behavior you're looking for that is that is in play in that situation. That is the negative thing about quasi experiment. Okay, so I will forget any other non-experimental design. Yeah, we've not talked about survey design. Yes, survey design. The key things we need to remember in survey research design is that they make use of questionnaires and they make use of large participants. That is survey design. Survey design is able to do that, making use of large participants and questionnaires. That is the key characteristics of survey design. So, and that is where we look at the cross-sectional design and the longitudinal design in survey design. So the cross-sectional is the one that collects data at the same point in time. Yes, if I want to investigate our, okay, let's say the effect of eating fiber on body weight, I will check the effect on adolescents. I will check the effect on people 20 years. I will check it on 30 years people, 50 years, 70 years people. You understand? 10 years different, but at the same point in time, right? At the same point in time, I will check it. So, but if I want to do longitudinal research, I will check these persons that are 20 years. I will wait when they are 30 years, like 10 years later, I'll come and check again. I will wait again, maybe 40 years, 10 years again, I'll come. 50 years again, I'll come. 60, I'll come. 70. This is longitudinal research. Different time series, but the same participants. The other one, cross-sectional, is the same participant, but the same time, right? So these are the non-experimental research methods you'll be expecting in subjective questions for your exams. And I hope you're having a nice time with our channel. So please do well to subscribe and comment, and any question is very much welcomed. As you go through the classes, you can bring your questions, we can discuss them together.